Hello everyone and welcome back into another video. Today we're back in Warframe with another build showcase, and this time we're having a look at Citrine. She is the gem Warframe and she has very interesting abilities that can both buff you and your allies. She makes for a great support and a great damage amplifier, so she is great in pretty much every mission. But that's enough introductions for now, so let's jump into the build. This time I do have all the shards equipped on her because, they are not exactly needed, but they will make your life a lot easier. And the ones I'm using are 2 Crimson Shards with ability duration, 2 Azure Shards with armor, and 1 Amber Shard with casting speed. This way the build has a lot more duration, Citrine will be a lot tankier thanks to the 450 additional armor, and increasing casting speed is always nice, and she actually kind of needs it because all her casting animations are kind of slow. Let's now have a look at her abilities. Starting from the passive, Citrine grants all allies in range 5 health regeneration per second, and that is increased by 0.1 whenever you pick up 1 health orb. This buff can go all the way up to 25, so after picking up 200 health orbs, then she gets the maximum amount, so it does take a bit, but it's doable, it's actually very easy. Then we have her first ability called Fractured Blast. When you cast ability, you summon these shards that will target nearby enemies in front of you and apply slash status on them. Enemies affected by Fractured Blast have a higher chance to drop health orbs and energy orbs when they die. Then we have Preserving Shell. This is your tanking ability and your support ability. What this ability does is it increases damage reduction for you and all allies in affinity range. The damage reduction starts at 79% with this build. The damage reduction will decay slowly while just playing the mission, but if you keep killing or receiving assists from your teammates, then the damage reduction will go back up and you basically just have to keep on killing to keep this buff active. The maximum amount of damage reduction you can get is 90%, and you can recast the ability whenever you want and still keep the buff you had before. And additionally, casting the ability does stagger enemies in a small circle around you, so it could be used in some very niche situations to stagger enemies. Then we have her third skill, Prismatic Gem. Whenever you cast the ability, you deploy this gem on the ground, and the gem will release a coordinated attack after you hit an enemy, and it has a chance to apply either heat, cold, toxin, or electricity. And that also applies to your allies, so if they damage enemies inside the radius, the gem will also release a coordinated attack. And you can increase status chance and status duration by increasing your power strength and your ability duration. Finally, we have her fourth ability called Crystallize. When you cast the ability, you summon these little sparks on the ground that will target nearby enemies and crystallize them. Enemies that are crystallized cannot move anymore, and they will also have this growth on them, this kind of crystal that you can shoot for an additional 300% crit chance. So it's basically a CC ability that also allows you to deal a lot more damage to enemies, and you can recast the ability as much as you want, and it won't reset the other enemies you have crystallized before. So if you miss one enemy after your first cast, simply recast the ability and you'll be fine. But for this build, I am going to use Roar instead of Crystallize because I want a more generic damage increase. And as you can see, this build is quite busy. It uses a lot of very expensive mods in terms of endo. And so yeah, it does take a while to actually probably get this build going if you're a new player. But I do think it's a really fun build and it's worth trying out. I'm using Corrosive Projection in my Aura slot to reduce enemies' armor by 18%, Primal Sure-Footed in my Exo slot, but if you don't have this one, just use Handspring, it's going to help a lot with those knockdowns. Then I'm using Archon Vitality for more HP, and also double the amount of hit procs we apply, Archon Stretch for ability range, and also to gain energy regeneration per second when we apply electricity with our abilities, Archon Continuity to have more ability duration, and additionally, Toxin procs will now also apply corrosive status effects, so Citrine is also able to strip more armor from enemies, Transient Fortitude for more ability strength at the cost of some duration, Umbrella Intensify for more ability strength, Prime Flow to increase my energy pool, Adaptation for more tankiness overall, and finally Ago Reach for even more range and also to convert 40% of the ability energy we spend into shields. Finally, in my Arcane slots, I'm using Arcane Blessing and Molt Augmented. This way I increase my HP by 1200 and also my power strength by 60%. These Arcanes will just stack their buffs up while playing the mission, so the more you stay in a mission, the more useful they will be. As for my weapons, I'm using the Bubonico and I made a video about this build, so if you wanna check that out, you can find this in the top right corner of your screen right now, and it's just a very solid weapon that can deal an insane amount of damage. Then I have the Prisma Angstrom, which is also another weapon I made a video about. And this is the build I went for, and it does deal also an insane amount of damage. And I really like the Incarnon form of this weapon, so yeah, I do recommend giving it a try. It's a very fun weapon and also really powerful. As for my melee, I'm using the dual Ichor because they are just great melee weapons in general, and they do dash out some serious damage. This is the build I'm using. It's just the usual gas electricity melee influence build, nothing incredible, but it does work wonders. And these are the Incarnon evolutions. And I might make a video about this weapon, but it's it's a melee weapon with melee influence, so nothing new here. And finally, in my focus tree slot, I'm using Madurai. That way I can increase my casting speed by 50% and additionally gain 40% more ability strength for 20 seconds after doing a couple slingshots. My companion of choice is going to be the Panzerrupaphyla for easy access to viral, and this is the build I went for. Okay, that is pretty much the build, so let's now see it in action. And the way you're gonna use this build is quite simple. You cast your 1, enemies are affected by the debuff, and so they will drop more health orbs and energy orbs on kill. You always want to keep your second ability active for more damage reduction. You of course want your roar active all the time, because it's just more damage, so we love more damage. And always have your crystal down. The way it will apply those statuses, and those statuses will take care of enemies. You can even use your 1 to apply statuses on enemies, because your 1 does trigger the prism. As you can see, it is shooting the enemies with those beams. So yeah, if you want to just use your 1, you can pretty much do that. The status damage will be enough to kill everything, so you can just spam your 1, and enemies will start dropping tons and tons of HP orbs and also energy orbs. So yeah, that's a thing you can do. And of course, you also have your weapons if you just want to take care of them very easily and very fast. And yeah, now that we have a bit more power and more buffs and stuff, if we were to do it again, and yeah, we just cast your 1, keep your 2 active again, and just cast a couple alt fires with your Bubonico. And the trick is this one. Yeah, enemies just delete themselves because they are taking quite a lot of damage thanks to the fact that we are applying double hit procs, and also we are removing their armor thanks to Archon continuity. So yeah, it's an interesting build definitely, and it does work wonders. So once again, with some buffs, we recast our crystal again because it's almost gone. So we do that. We cast our roar again. And we use the alt fire. We can even use the Prisma Angstrom. Doesn't really matter. It's just more damage with the Prisma Angstrom, I guess. And you can just one-tap enemies because it does deal a tremendous amount of damage. This weapon is really good as well. But yeah, that's pretty much what happens when you use the whole kit. And if you're wondering about Crystallize, how it works and how useful it will be on this build, it won't be that great because we're mostly focusing on damage that the prism deals. And if you were to cast it, as you can see, it does summon these crystals. If we shoot the crystals, we have the 300% more crit chance, so it's basically red crits all the way. But once again, we don't really care about red crits, we care about statuses, and so the prism is just better in general. And Crystallize isn't exactly that amazing, I think. For this build specifically, I don't like it that much. It's a very powerful ability, but yeah, as you can see, the prism is dealing all the work. There's no crits happening anywhere, so yeah. For this build specifically, we're gonna use Roar, and that is pretty much the build. And once again, it's a fun build and also works very well. And I like the fact that we're using pretty much all the Archon mods but the cold one, so yeah, very fun and also quite powerful. I will now leave you guys to the showcase where I test this build against Grineer enemies in Sailpath in a survival for 10 minutes, so you can have a look at what this build can do in a more realistic scenario. If you enjoyed the video, remember to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Have a great rest of the day, and bye bye.
Baby up with a slow motion crew, and we up in our growlings when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding. And I'll be running, possessed by a low, low voodoo. Fired up like a wolf on a full moon. And we're stuck in a la la land. The tides will turn without us. And I'll be killing time like I might be a cartoon. Take it in real life like haiku. I know we got the good vibes when pieces fall right into place. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Cause you got me holding. Play me like a bass guitar, simmer down and mess me up, tripping like I'm Jimmy at Woodstock. Drive me around in your red Ford, shivers down my spinal cord. Oh, 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 oh. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding.
I was not ready to falling like I'm wasted. My heart grows heavy. Don't taste me rushing. Keep your words naked. You got me blushing. And you forever I'll follow. You be my holy ground. You forever I'll follow. In immortality, I forever I'll follow. You'll be my holy